Hello and welcome to the debrief of Arsenal 0, West Ham United 1. Oh, it feels good. I've been enjoying everything. I've been enjoying the social media side of it. I've been enjoying the banter with friends and between friends as well. Match of the day, Sky Sports. I am consuming everything I can since that full-time whistle went. Everything Arsenal West Ham. Give it to me. I am loving it. The pictures of Declan Rice on the bench, the pictures of Declan Rice's face when Jarrod Bowen scoring his header. Cantown Lions already done a painting of that moment. It's fun. It's fun. Football should be fun. And for a lot of the time this season, there's not been much fun. So I'm going to enjoy while it lasts because we play Leicester on Thursday. And if we are in true West Ham fashion, we know what's going to happen. But we'll deal with that later on in the week. But until then, I'm enjoying it. It was fun. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. You're watching us live. Thank you. 9 a.m. on a Sunday and you're watching me. That's commitment. Thank you very much. And if you're watching it later on in the day, it means just as much. But please do drop a like on the video as well by clicking the thumbs up. Nearly 2,000 people liked that video yesterday, the review. I did ask, but it's a lot of clicks. And subscribe if you're new to the channel. But please do drop a like on it because that helps this video. And yesterday, YouTube broke. So it was basically a voluntary day at work for me yesterday. No money earned on the review. Nice one, YouTube. Anyway, so I might be having ice cubes for lunch tomorrow. But at least I'll be smiling when I'm doing it. Right. If you're watching live, get your thoughts into live chat. Let's see what you're all saying. Mark says, excellent win yesterday. The boys were determined not to give up that lead. Simon said, excellent all-round performance. Very hard-working and disciplined. Tactics spot on. Only got worried when Mavropanos came on and the inevitable free kick followed. Now beat Leicester, and he went on to say, do wish Todibo can stay fit. A class defender. Comfortable on the ball and what Potter needs for the summer rebuild. I was having a look at some of the statistics from yesterday, and one thing I like to look at is the most common pass that West Ham make. I don't know. It just gives me a little bit of an indicator. So one player A to player B, which was the most common, and it was Todibo to Areola, funnily enough. But the second most common was Areola to Todibo. Now, bearing in mind, he only played an hour. It's almost quite impressive, but it just shows how comfortable he is on the ball, giving it to the goalkeeper, taking it from the goalkeeper as well. And there was a joint second pass, and that was from Scarles to Aaron Creswell. So Todibo passed it to Areola 10 times, and then Areola passed it to Todibo 8 times. Scarles passed it to Creswell 8 times. There you go. There's a little bit of geek for 4 minutes past 9 on Sunday morning. Steve said all the defence were really disciplined. Great to see Aaron Creswell rolling back the years. Steve said, a different Steve, said absolutely buzzing. Thought the boys done well and Potter got it spot on. Simon's agreeing that Creswell really helped and impressive. Scars, somebody in the chat says he loves Aaron Creswell, that numpty. Rookie says, what a happy day today is going to be. Steve said, doesn't get much better than that. We'll give everyone a lift. Players, staff, and above all, us, the fans. We needed that. Potter showing he's a top-class coach. Mitch is saying, did we see that Scarles was the first player since the 3rd of February 2024, so over 12 months ago, to make 6 interceptions and tackles? I've seen a statistic. I think he made 7. And it's the most from an away player this season. I don't know. These statistics, you've got to be careful. I've seen people trot out statistics before as fact, and they're not even factual. So you've got to be careful sometimes. So I've seen it. Whether I believe it, I'm not too sure. If Opta-Stats bang out, then I'll be inclined to believe it. A different Steve, a third Steve. We've got 3 Steves. A third Steve says, what a resilient performance from us. Credit to all players and manager. West Ham for Life said Potter is a genius. Gary said he's found a way to be compact away from home that is capable of getting points. Now needs to find a way to win home games. I do agree with that. We have our good performances from Potter have come on the road. Hammerite says, hopefully after this fantastic win, we will see a good team performance with confidence on Thursday. We need a good win at the London Stadium. Seiji says it's crazy how a win like this increases everyone's mood and positivity so much. It's football. Football's very, very unique. And this is one of the reasons why Karen Brady's podcast annoyed me so much. Because she speaks about it so emotionless, and it's one of them you just want to say you don't understand, and it's not healthy how much football can dictate someone's mood, good or bad. Like against Brentford, we got beat, we're unhappy, we're angry, but it's just a different kind of love, though, isn't it? It's a different kind of love. And when, they speak about things they've done at the club, they were basically saying, get on with it. But the thing is, if your supermarket changed how they do things and you didn't like it, you can go elsewhere. You can take your custom and go somewhere else. But when it comes to your football team, you can't do that. You can't change your football team. You're stuck. You're powerless. You've got to, the people that make decisions impact you, and they impact your life daily, essentially. And that's why I get frustrated sometimes, because they speak as if it's like, well, what's the problem? Well, you don't get it. Like I said, you can argue about whether it's healthy or not. I don't think it is particularly healthy all the time, but when it's good, my word. Never done drugs, but I'd imagine this is what what it feels like. Gary says, I wasn't sure about that midfield, but it goes to show that everyone is working for each other. It can work better than some of its. I thought Ward-Prowse in the middle was fantastic. When the game kicks off, when the lineup comes out and the game kicks off, very quickly you're looking, aren't you? Right, how are we lining up? It was straight away you could tell it was a 3-5-2. Depends if you like Potter. People that don't like Graham Potter will say it was a 5-3-2, and people that like Potter or are consistent will say it's a 3-5-2. But you could see straight away Kudus Bowen up front. But one thing that caught my eye the most was the fact that Ward-Prowse was central in the midfield, and I thought it worked. I thought it worked really, really well. Actually, I thought he had a fantastic game in there. I thought he was better. I think Alvarez and Souček had good games, but I think Ward-Prowse had an excellent game. Kevin Ord said, what a result. Potter needs to win on Thursday to get rid of the Brentford game. It's already gone for me, Kevin Ord. I'm not going to lie. Liam said, fantastic performance. And I think he's got another comment coming. Hammer for Life said, we did so well against Arsenal. I watched the whole match without knowing that a certain someone even played. He was invisible. Mark says, very happy he won £100. Good. Love that. Enjoy it. Spend it wisely. John says, amazing the difference a win makes to the weekend. Jake said he got a text from a Liverpool fan that said, thank you. He absolutely loves it. My Liverpool friend has said nothing. Well, he has. He said, I'm not going to say anything until we've played, because obviously they played Man City today, and I think he's a bit thinking, if we win, fantastic. It's like a 6-point tilt, isn't it? Wan-Bissaka and Scars did the best, I think. Great defending and kept calm the whole match. And here's Liam's follow-up performance. Says, don't want to see us change from back three for the rest of the season. Boys were incredible. Souček out and Ferguson in for the Leicester game for me. See, this is it. I think you do have to change it. I agree with Liam. Adrian says, wasn't impressed by the lineup, but for that style, it was the correct team. Next step will be to see a different team for change of tactics, which hasn't happened. Again, I agree with Adrian, following on from Liam's comment there. Jeff saying Potter got spot on. Nothing wrong with a bit of Moyes ball in the right moment. He used to change it now for Leicester and beat them again. I'm agreeing with Adrian, Jeff, and Liam here that we're gonna have to change. You can't do that against Leicester. It's got to be a bit different. But everything I agree with, everything that Jeff said here as well. We're agreeing a lot here. Mark said all the Scar statistics were outstanding. First in about 8 categories. Kent said I was there. Unbelievable atmosphere from start to finish. Fans were fantastic. Team was fantastic. Well-deserved win. The 3/5 at the back is the way to go. I like it. Don't call it 3 or 5. Greg says Potter 100% needs to stick with the 3 at the back for now, as we look more solid and better on the counter. I know it's not for everyone. Chris says, good team performance, great result. I'm still thinking Souček was a passenger during the game. Trev said, I think it's fair to say that we've allowed Wan-Bissaka to develop his attacking game. When he came, no one had such faith in his attack, but now look at him. He is terrorising defenders. It's his final ball. I think when he was at Man U, I liked the defensive side of his game in terms of one-on-one defending. I liked his dribbling. It was that delivery. Can you get the delivery better? And the cross for Bowen's goal was really good. But there was, if you go back to about 5 minutes before, 5-10 minutes into the game, maybe he went down that right-hand side. And Souček made a little bit of a run behind the Arsenal defence. And it was a really bad ball for Wan-Bissaka. It was just terrible. And it went straight out for a goal kick. It was nowhere near where he intended to play it. So he has improved. And I'm enjoying it. Before, when we first had him, when he used to go forward, I used to think, oh, come on, please just get this right. But actually now I've stopped thinking like that. When he goes forward now, I'm like, here we go on, get the ball in the box. I think, I can't recall the exact, I remember the passing statistics, but about 60% of our attack, no more than that. I think the pitch is obviously split into 3 verticals, central, left and right. And I think about 70% of our attacks came down our right-hand side yesterday, which is a huge number. Hammer Crow says, fantastic performance. Great effort from the players. Tactics spot on. Great to see an organised performance. CB saying, Scales is proof our academy is still capable of producing players for the first team. Looking forward to the development squad getting chances to play. Infinitely said, Craswell at left centre-back is a calming influence on both Kilman and a mentor for Scales. Possibly another 1-year deal to help develop Scales. See, the thing is, I don't think, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I don't think all 5 players leave that are... There's 5 players with contracts expiring at the minute. Fabianski, Soufal, Craswell, Ings, Antonio. I don't think all 5 leave. I wouldn't be surprised if 1 or 2 of them get a 1-year extension. I think it might be Fabianski, and I think it might be Craswell or Soufal. I'd be surprised if we gave both of them a new deal, but I think one of them might get a new one. I might discuss that with Gonzo. We got a gap coming up in March. We've got 2 games in an entire month, right? We're going to have to discuss some topics, and I think Craswell is one of them. People know my thoughts. Big fan. Oh, crap. I forgot my banner. Hang on a minute. Let me click my banner. There you go. Banner's on. Let's pretend that's been on for the whole time. There's no brand deal. That's to promote Hammer Chat, really. I mucked myself off here. Graham saying Potter 100% needs to stick with it. Kilman is better in a back 3, and it's Potter's favourite formation. Makes us more solid for now. Mega win yesterday, and great to see Kudus playing out of his skin. He did change it a lot at Brighton, though. Statistically, I think I was saying this to Frankie off air last week. Statistically, in Potter's final full season, not the season where he went to Chelsea, the one before that, when they finished 9th, I think they used something like 13 formations in 38 Premier League games. That was the official statistic. Now, there's obviously slight variations in there. A lot of those formations will have 3 at the back. It might just be that the midfield was slightly different or whatever. So he does adapt a lot. I remember his Swansea team, a lot of the time at Swansea, they were playing on paper 4 at the back, but the way he used Kyle Naughton was how Arsenal was using Calafiori yesterday, which was to move up into the middle and become a central midfielder. Then the central midfielder would push up. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. I think I wouldn't be surprised if he changes it on Thursday and tries to get an extra attacking player in there. Now, you could also do it, like you said, by if you take out Souček and put in Ferguson, there's your attacking side of it developed. But I don't know. I think he's too much of a tinker. As in, he likes to alter things, not because he hasn't washed or anything. But he's a bit of a tinker, Graham Potter. So expect more tinky from Potter between now and the end of the season, I think. Muiz says, Kudus looked like the best player on the pitch. David said, I would like to have seen Guilherme for extra time, as that would have given us another outlet with his speed. I always think most difficult time to do a sub as a manager is when you're winning by a goal. That's the most difficult scoreline. I think it's easy when you're losing. It's easy. You're already losing. You might as well change it. But when you're winning by a goal, I think that's when it becomes very, very difficult to call that. Stephen saying Chris Sutton, I see no chance for West Ham in this game 3-0. What a twit. I mean, to be fair, you could go look at a lot of West Ham fans' comments. There was some predicting 5 and 6-0 hidings for us as well. It doesn't bother me. I honestly could not tell you the last time pundits made like a score prediction against West Ham, and it actually bothered me years ago. I'm not arsed. The only time when pundits wind me up is when I feel like they're being dishonest. And the prime example is Sky Sports earlier this season. It was at the start of this season. It wasn't going great under Lopetegui. Quite early on, there was a bit of discontent, and they were discussing Lopetegui and how West Ham fans hadn't taken to him. And I can picture the guy. I can't remember his name. He's got like fair hair. He must be like late 20s, 30. He speaks quite slow. Can't remember his name. And he basically said, well, West Ham fans want to change from Moyes because they felt like they should have been challenging for the top 4 last season. And I thought, whoa, lie. Absolute lie. I'm not denying there's a small minority of fans that think we should be doing that. Just like there's a small minority of fans that think we can get relegated. But if you remove those, majority, I think, expect us to be in the top half with a chance of top 6-7 football. That's it. I think that's an expectation. I think it's a fair expectation. On a good season, we get into the top 6, 7, 8, depending on they can qualify for European football. On an average season, we finish in the top half. Bad season, well, we're doing but I consider this to be a terrible season for us. But he was portraying this as factual, as if to say every West Ham. But I think it's dangerous because then it was about a week later, I was speaking to someone who isn't a West Ham fan, and he said, well, yeah, but I don't think you're going to get top 4. Oh, whoa, I know where you've got this from, but that was lies. That was not reflective of what people thought. And you could ask 100 West Ham fans that wanted Moyes to go why they wanted Moyes to go. I would expect it to be less than 5 people would say, well, we should be challenging for the top 4. I'd be shocked if there was more than 2 or 3 people that said that. So that's when professional pundits, don't know how you distinguish that between other people, but those professional pundits, that's when they wind me up, when I feel like, and it's not just West Ham, by the way, it's other clubs as well. I can sometimes listen to some fan content or read fan content around a situation at a club like Leicester City, for example, or Tottenham, and then Sky Sports will trot something out that's different to what the fan base are saying. And I think this is dangerous because you've got most of the viewers, there's millions of people watching this, and you're putting this out there as if it's factual when I'm not sure that it's a fair reflection. Anyway, I've gotten off a tangent. Welcome to Sunday mornings. Right, let me scroll up the chat a little bit and pick a comment. We'll go from there. Lucas says, hope someone within West Ham has spoken to Scarles and kept him grounded. Reece Oxford seems moons ago. He is very humble, all his Scarles, I believe. I think when he speaks, you can sense it as well. But I have been told that all these Scarles, not just Scarles, the other youngsters as well, they're a tight-knit bunch, but also, I mean, yesterday in the away end, yesterday was Caelan Casey, George Earthy, and Lewis Orford. 3 of our young players were in the away end at the Emirates yesterday, watching that victory over Arsenal. Tony saying Leicester missed some big chances earlier against Brentford and fell apart. We've got to be ready for the fast start this time. Barry was glad to see Todibo back. He looked fantastic. That Todibo twist he does blows my mind. Trick that pulls off turning on your man is great to see. Benji says we finally got one more you from Declan. We got more you from Declan. Deciding to stop marking Bowen in the box. He'll always be a hammer. Mark saying Creswell is playing well. Liam's asking what the Scarles' ceiling is to become a really good first-team player at West Ham, I think. He certainly looks like he's on his way. 2 goals and 2 appearances as a striker against the likes of Chelsea and Arsenal under Potter. Following on from plenty of goals in that position since joining the club, time to accept Bowen as a striker. Not for me, Mark. My opinion remains the same, which is he can do a job as striker, but I don't think it's his best position. I mean, while he got the goal yesterday, I will also say I don't think Bowen had the best game yesterday. He struggled to get involved, I think, is how I'd phrase it. It's horses for courses, though. I think it worked yesterday, but I still prefer to see him deeper in the, you can pick out some stats as him as a striker, but his stats as let's just call it a right-sided forward are greater than a striker. So if you're going to use statistics to say this is why he's a striker, well, the statistics for him to not be the striker are actually stronger. So that's my opinion is leave him where he is. Good goal yesterday, but he struggled to influence the game. Otherwise, I felt Kudus did a better job than Jarrod Bowen did yesterday. Mark says, Bowen being 28, however fit with lots of energy and stamina, do you think he could better Antonio's goal tally? Personally, I want him to, but what's your opinion? Yeah, I think he can. I think he's absolutely fantastic. John says, it's ironic that two players that fans had doubts about, Creswell and Souček, have risen to the occasion. Steve says, shout out for Creswell, not only for his performance, but for supporting and encouraging. Scarles Spencer says, we definitely need another centre-back to put Mavropanos as a third choice. And Tadibo with a new boy would be definitely a decent trio. Scarles deserves that wing-back role with Wan-Bissaka. They are solid. Mark says, potentially a controversial opinion. Ooh, I like these. But I'm glad Paqueta missed that one. He's been great since Potter came in, but a risk taker. The midfield looked more balanced with Ward-Prowse in there. I agree with all that. I agree with that. I was also the same as you, which was, I assume you were thinking this before the game, which is disappointing. He's been playing well, but the team were, I mean, it's hard to disagree with his, isn't it, after that performance, but the midfield was certainly more balanced, I think, with him. Mark doesn't like Bowen up front, and different Mark says, so we've got loads of Marks and Steves in today. Says, great atmosphere yesterday in away end. At no point did we look like losing that game. Jiminy says, I thought we were comfortable for the whole 90 minutes. They never looked like scoring because of our setup. Dan says, Scars was fantastic. I think it helped. He'd already been up against Wanyeri and under 21s. And under 23s. I've seen the photo from the under 18s of Scars and Wanyeri. Right then, Ross says, I think under Potter, we'll see Potts get minutes like Scars. Earthy is looking good as well. I feel confident the academy is in safe hands under Potter. Steve saying Ferguson hasn't had hardly any football recently. Surprising, he may be a bit rusty. Northern Hammer says it's buzzing, but the West Ham cynic says we lose to Leicester, but I'll enjoy the win for one more day. Yeah, there's a little bit of West Hamness if we were to lose. Ironic says Ferguson made a complete hash of his opportunity. I can see why Brighton loaned him. I think it was a bad pass from Kudus. I think it was just behind him. That's all. I don't think it was a good ball from him. But as I said in the review, I think Kudus was just tired at this point. I think he'd done everything right. And then the pass, I've been critical of Kudus at times for being selfish in previous games, but that was one occasion I wanted him to be selfish. Either you get the pass right or you go for goal yourself. And I think he did neither. He tried to pass. Well, he did. Tried to set Ferguson up, and I don't think the pass was great. I think it was behind Ferguson, and Ferguson had to put his brakes on. I actually think quite the opposite. I think as soon as Kudus gets the ball, I think Ferguson's runs really good. It's just behind Kudus in the ball at all times, so that whenever Kudus went to give it to him, he was onside. Too often you see strikers. We could all think of a striker when I say this. I've got someone in my head who may or may not play in red in Liverpool, but we can all think of a striker that when an opportunity like that arises, they're a bit too stupid sometimes and they get ahead of the play so that the ball can't be passed to them. How often do you see it when that happens? It comes back, VAR gets involved. Oh, actually, you're offside. You think, well, that's just unnecessary. Why are you offside? I think Ferguson holds his run really well. He almost paces himself so that he doesn't overtake, and he remains on side for the duration of Kudus's run. So I think it was just a tired pass, personally. Dean says, Ward-Prowse brings an energy and attitude that we've missed in the middle this season. Joseph says Kudus was amazing. He should keep it up. Mark's admitting that when the team came out yesterday, he wasn't too confident. West Ham says, I was stressing for the whole match after we scored the first goal. Daniel thinks it was one of the biggest mistakes was loaning Ward-Prowse out. Makes such a big difference in the bid games. Darwin, unlike a few of us, says that he hopes that is a lineup that starts on Thursday. Leaves Scars in the first 11 for the remainder of the season. Marky says, keep Bowen out wide. He doesn't suit playing up front. Get a decent striker in. We will score goals for fun. Jiminy says, what finish do you think is realistic for next season? How far in? 25 minutes. That's all right, Ben. I don't mind dropping it here. 7th. I think it's a realistic target, isn't it? You look at the Premier League table this season with Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth, Newcastle, arguably, and Brighton have been up in there a little while. Did they go 8th? I think Brighton. Let me have a look at the league table. I think Brighton went 8th with their win yesterday. I'm repeating myself just to buy myself time to load the table up. They went 9th. Oh no, did they maybe overtake? Yeah, they did. They did go 8th because they overtook Aston Villa, but Villa then won later on to knock them back to 9th. But if you look at the league table now, Forest 3rd, Bournemouth 5th, and then you've got Brighton 9th. I think 7th is a realistic target. I'm not saying I think we'll do it. It depends on numerous things, such as, and most importantly, the summer transfer window. We have an excellent summer transfer window, then why not? We have a bad one, then top part of the bottom half of the table, really. So, yeah, I think between 14th and 7th, I'd imagine, is where we will finish up next season. Good season versus bad season, somewhere in there. But it's hard to tell. I know you're not holding me to this. It's hard to tell at the minute, but there's an opportunity, and if we don't have, we're not going to have European football next season. There has to be advantages to that, and we haven't seen them this season. I would argue that possibly this weekend was the first weekend that I feel like we've benefited from not having European football. Not that Arsenal did play this week, but there was European football on with the playoff round of the Champions League and the Europa League come to a conclusion. So yeah, there you go. That's what I will do. 7th. Tommy's giving a shout out for Creswell. Proves he is a good pro. Lee says Wan-Bissaka was brilliant again. West Ham for Life saying man of match. I gave it to Kudus. That's who I gave it to yesterday. I'm sticking with that. Sure says a team doesn't always consist of the best 11 players, but 11 players who best suit a system. But presents a big headache when it comes to dropping him for the benefit of the unit. I think you could say that about a couple of players, to be honest with you. I would argue that Creswell is the prime example. You've given Paqueta as an example of who has to miss out. I would give Creswell as an example of who has to come in. Is he one of our best players? No. Is he one of our best centre-backs? No. But he's best suited for that role, I think. I think Creswell's had a really good season. I think he played well when called upon. I think he played well under Lopetegui as well. He wasn't called upon very often, but as and when he's played, I generally can't remember Creswell having a bad game this season. The good thing with our player ratings is Stephen marks it down, so he'd be able to check what rating I've given Creswell for the entire season and see if there's one less than 5. I'd be surprised. Yeah, good. Just a pity he's 35. If he was 33, you'd have no hesitation giving him that extra year. But we'll see. Daniel talks about selling TC. I'd like to see him that strong for the rest of the season and keeping him. I'm trying to think who TC is. Who's TC? Why is it not coming to my brain? I don't know. Why have I not got? What? Who's TC? I'm obviously missing something really obvious here. Who the hell's TC? I can't think. Oh, Tadibo. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. No, I don't think we will sell him. I think it's just media talking, all this stuff suggesting, it's a deal's been done with Man U because obviously they couldn't buy him directly because of the UEFA rules. So he's come to us and they're going to buy him. It doesn't necessarily mean anything, does it? We've got to agree to sell him to Man U. We don't have to do that. I'll be shocked if we sell. I know people are saying TC's Tony Cottee, but the question was in relation to selling someone. We don't have Tony Cottee to sell. So I knew it couldn't be. It was someone within our team, but he made a typo. He meant Jean-Claire Tadibo. Riyaz says Mavropanos is a liability. I knew he would do something stupid like give away that free kick. Every game he does something rash. Is hard to disagree. And score prediction for Thursday? I think we'll win 2-0. Scott says, do you think we're seeing a manager who isn't stubborn enough to just play one way? 100%. I think he's changed it every game. I don't think we've gone from game A to game B literally with the same team yet. I could be wrong, but even same formation, same style of play. We've seen about 4 different formations under Potter already, and we've only had 7 games. 7 games? Yeah, 7 games. Pretty sure it's 7 games. I think we've seen about 4 or 5 different formations within that 7 already. So we've definitely got a guy who's a bit of a Swiss Army knife when it comes to tactics. Not a bad thing. I think sometimes you can have too many tactics to some extent, but to have different variations and styles of play and being able to adapt depending on your opponent, I think it's only a good thing, isn't it? I think he's can be quite proactive and reactive as well. We'll go back to the Fulham game when Adama Traore came on. As soon as Marco Silva had him on, Potter made 2 changes on the left-hand side. Funny enough, with Scars and Creswell coming on to accommodate Adama Traore and shut down any threat he was going to pose with his strength. Needs to get the baby lotion back out, Adama Traore. Once you've got that, then you never know. Anyway, right, I think I might leave it there. It's been a bit of a ramble for half an hour, but hopefully you've all enjoyed it. If you've stuck around from the start to the finish, I would suggest you have. Let me get rid of that banner now, otherwise it stays up on the end slate. Later putting it up, earlier taking it down. But thank you very much for joining me. If you're watching this later on, please do leave your comments in the comment section below. I'll be back later this week. We'll have the podcast with Frankie, then I'll be doing the Leicester City preview with Gonzo. I always look forward to the more after we've won a game because you're feeling positive going into that preview. And also, let's be honest, Leicester are absolutely terrible at the minute. I think this is the perfect game for Potter. We've beaten Arsenal away, brilliant. Everyone's on a high. Who and what do you want next? I think you want a home game. You want to get a win at the London Stadium. You want to give the home fans something to look forward to. And against a crap team, and there's 2 of them at the minute in the league that I'd consider crap, and that's Leicester and Southampton. So it's the perfect fixture for Potter. I don't know, I'm going to guess here. I think there might have been a lot of people debating not going on Thursday. Midweek trip to London, the trains, etc. There's a lot of reasons to not go to West Ham v Leicester City at the moment. I think yesterday's win has given a lot of people a reason to go. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's changed a few people's minds, or those that were 50-50 about going are thinking, do you know what? I'm going to go now because I enjoyed what I've seen. We're probably going to win. I'm going to go. So I think that win will be good. And this fixture coming up is good to have off the back of what we've just... In football, you create momentum, don't you? You create a little bit of a wave, and you got to ride that. And I think we've done that yesterday. We've got the win. Everyone's feeling good right now. Capitalize on it. I will actually finish it off with a bit of a concern of mine. It's weird to have this concern, but this is how my brain works sometimes. Here's a bit my concern. Tomorrow or Tuesday, the club release their season ticket renewal stuff, because we know what West Ham United are like. They like to Because if this season ticket renewal stuff is bad news, if there's an increase, they haven't reversed on the concession decision they made 12 months ago. You're going to want to put it out when everyone's feeling positive. And I think they'll do that. I would not be surprised if our season ticket news comes out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week before the Leicester game, because everybody's feeling good, because we've just beaten Arsenal. And I just hope we don't do that. People are feeling positive and people are having fun. Leave them be. Let them enjoy this moment. There's a good chance we'll beat Leicester City, and then you've got plenty of time off the back of 2 wins, back-to-back wins. Then you can release your season ticket news, but just don't piss on our parade. But I've got a feeling that that's what they will do, because just what West Ham United do, innit? So we'll see. I could be wrong. It's just feeling. I've got a negative feeling about it. Anyway, some last minute random thoughts for you. Welcome to the Brain of Geo. Catch you in a bit.